Senzik. And you know, he's right. This is a celebration of the Black community. That's what Emancipation Day is. However, it is a celebration for the broader community. We want everybody out there celebrating with us, because one of the best ways to combat racism is to educate people, to show people that we're not so different, that there are a lot of similarities within all people from all walks of life. Next up, I'd like to introduce Rochelle Bush, who is the historian and trustee of the BME Salem Chapel Church.
Thank you, Erica. Hello, everyone. Well, you know what? I'm going to back it up, because everybody has a tendency to talk about part 2 of Emancipation Day. So, in July 1833, there was the announcement. Government was going to abolish slavery, so the British government. It took a year, and it would take effect August 1st, 1834. So it took a year to debate that, because they had to come up with a compromise. The compromise was white enslavers wanted to be compensated for the loss of their human property. That debt was not paid to all white folks who enslaved Black people until 2015. In the UK. You can Google it, fact check it in real time. 2015, that was the last family to be paid out for the loss of their human property in 1833. So, that being said, Emancipation Day didn't begin here in St. Catharines until August 1st, 1835. And it was in the downtown core. And the first group of people to celebrate were Black folks. So what did they do? They marched around the colored village, which was what it was affectionately known at the time. So Geneva Street, North Street, which was the Broadway of the area, as well as Welland Avenue, all the way up to Church Street. So they dressed in their Sunday best, they marched around the neighborhood, and then after that they had a festive dinner at the only Black church that existed at the time, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, which is now known as the British Methodist Episcopal Church. Let's advance a decade. It's no longer just Black folks celebrating, it's all the churches. There's 8 churches in the downtown core. 2 are Black, and then the other 6 are white churches. St. George's Church would host the Emancipation Day celebrations. St. Paul Street Methodist Church would host the Emancipation Day celebrations. Queen Street Baptist Church would host the Emancipation Day celebrations. And of course, the city aldermans would participate. So it would be a large and a grand festive parade in the downtown core, with a festive dinner taking place elsewhere. So it went from being just predominantly Black to being broad. The entire community would celebrate. Why is that? Because who set us free? Who set Black folks free? It had to be white males in the UK to make that happen. So that was the opportunity for everyone to celebrate. White abolitionists abolished slavery. Okay, there was the push from Black folks, of course, but it was everybody. Now we'll fast forward to Port Dalhousie in the big picnic. So it didn't take place on August 1st in Port Dalhousie, and that is because other areas around the province were celebrating it. So here it took place on the first Thursday of the month in August. So people would come together, and it would be a festival for anywhere from 3 days to a week, and they would come far and wide. So from Atlantic City, New Jersey, New York City, Michigan, people were coming on from all over the place. And in 1946, the highest count at that time was 10,000 people. Why Port Dalhousie? Because of the Grand Midway and the amusement parks. People would have something to do. So it was one of the largest in the area. We're here, I'm here today participating because I'm happy for the revitalization, and I'm happy that it's being spread out to the broader community. So years gone by, from 1970 when it started to peter out, all the way up until about 2015 when we had the first flood. I'm going to say that was about 2018, and we had to stop for a while. It was more or less family gatherings. So a lot of the freedom seeker descendant families, so those that are Black North American, those who were enslaved in North America, it was us getting together, and those who escaped by way of the Underground Railroad, and we'd converge on Port Dalhousie, and it depended on the year. Sometimes there'd be 50 people, sometimes there'd be 300. But now, with Matter of Black and Black 0905, it's going to become grander, and we're looking forward to that. Yeah, round of applause for them. A community celebration. So for all of you, I ask that you come down to the Salem Chapel this Sunday, because we're part of the Emancipation Day celebrations. It's going to begin at 12 noon. It'll end at 4 o'clock, but there's a talk time at 2 o'clock. So yeah, I love to talk, as you can gather. I would love to stand up here for 3 hours and tell you all about local Black history, but I'm not going to do that. You come down Sunday and I'll talk for 1 hour. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. And if you haven't heard Rochelle speak before, she is a wealth of knowledge. The way she just stores history in that brain of hers is incredible. Okay, so I'm going to let you know about the Pan-African flag and why we are raising it. So each color in the Pan-African flag has a meaning. The red represents the blood that unites all Black people and that has been shed as a result of slavery and subjugation. The history of North America is also a history of racism and violence. In Canada and America, as well as other parts of the world, Black people have been brutalized and discriminated against throughout history. The flag's middle black stripe is a nod to Black people's skin color. It also serves to indicate the strength of the Black community. Finally, the color green represents the fertility of the African continent. In many ways, Black people are people without a country. Because of the American slave trade, many have lost their ancestral heritage. The symbolism of the green on the Pan-African flag relates to the desire to belong to the physical land that is budding with promise and development. It signifies Black people's belonging within the history of the African continent. The combination of these three colors represents the spirit of Black people, a dynamic people, who are creating a community, a space to call their own, and a society free of oppression. Today, the Pan-African flag is still a symbol of political activism. Its deep history as a marker of Black liberation and its use throughout prior civil rights movements lends power to people who waved the flag in 2022. Used in countless movements intended to end the Black struggle, the flag is simultaneously an indication of the advancements made and the work that still needs to be done to achieve justice. So we're going to head over to the flagpole now to raise the Pan-African flag. And I'd like to thank you all so much for coming out. August 1st at Lakeside Park. It's going to be an amazing time. Music, free events for everyone, prizes for kids, and just a great community feel. So thank you so much for making this the biggest flag race we've had.
What's the time?
Well, at 10 a.m. on... you go ahead.
Okay, so Saturday, our Black-owned market is going to be starting at 4 o'clock in front of the Performing Arts Center. We will have DJ Rennie as well as Shad performing, so that's going to be great. And then we're going to have Summer Soul starting at dusk.
And then Sunday, as Rochelle mentioned, we're going to be at the BME Salem Chapel on Geneva Street. She's going to do a talk at 2 o'clock. It begins at noon, the open house, and it will go from noon till 4 with the talk at 2 o'clock. So you definitely want to be there at 2 o'clock to hear Rochelle and learn from her, because she is a wealth of knowledge. And then that brings us to Monday, Emancipation Day, August 1st, Lakeside Park, the big picnic. Bring a picnic. We've got food trucks there as well. But at 10 a.m. we're going to be on the beach doing soca-thais, so working our bodies to the beat. And then we are going to have the Alpha Rhythm Roots do a drumming performance, followed by a workshop. If you've seen any of our ads, or if you go to the First Ontario Performing Arts Center, their landing page, you can sign up. The first 20 people to sign up for the workshop can participate in that workshop. That will be happening at 2:45. And then we've got spoken word, or DJ Rennie. DJ Rennie's going to be there again. Making sure there's a vibe for the entire day. And then at 6:30, we've got Dwayne Morgan reading some poetry, doing some spoken word. He is such a powerful speaker. So if you haven't heard him before, make sure you are there for that. And then at 7 o'clock,